broadcast live.
Yeah.
We out here with Jonathan Mannion. I'm pronouncing it right. It's Mannion,
Sure
right?
are. Mannion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jonathan Mannion. I mean, world-class photographer. I mean, your first real hip-hop job was the Reasonable Doubt cover. And just like a couple of weeks ago, you just literally, in the summer, you literally had a whole gallery for Reasonable Doubt and all that stuff. I mean, sentimental value. It's 20 years ago. What does that mean just for you? Just starting there and saying, yo, this is how I started.
Yeah.
And how everything else has fell into place. Do you be like, well, if Jay was going to be what he was going to be, then I was probably going to get to all this. How
No, there was no way to know that because I did Jay's album that like I would be standing here in South Africa with 30 pieces that document and chronicle like, hip hop history.
Yeah.
There's no way to know, I knew that the contribution that I was making to his individual project was meaningful and that my voice could be heard. That my creative direction could be absorbed and taken and appreciated, and that was enough for me. I had somewhere to go to say, I've done that album cover, and I always wanted to attach myself to the albums. It was never about a magazine cover. That's cool. I enjoyed that because I still spent time with the artists. But the richest way for me to attach my work was to the project and to the music, because then I can never be removed from that. So that's why a lot of these album covers are so important to me, because you can't take me away from the music. I am 22 Twos and Brooklyn's finest and can't knock the hustle, you know what I mean? Because of that picture. That is the icon and that is the visual soundtrack to the soundtrack. It's the movie poster.
We here in South Africa, obviously we hear a lot about this stuff, but how was the Reasonable Doubt anniversary gallery taken? How was that received generally, like in the world?
That was a moment. That was a moment of me really challenging myself to rise past, just having it seen in the box, putting a couple prints, having one print in a show. I flew to London. We did a pop-up gallery out there. I challenged myself to kind of like get all Warhol with it and did printmaking, and just it was a joyful process of creation, of bringing these iconic photos to life in a new light, giving them color, giving them richness, giving them elegance, giving them like distressed, sort of delivery of like multiple pulls of paint in order to kind of create a new version of this, to breathe new life into the session. Certainly he doesn't need any, he needs more life. I wish him long life. But, that album has existed as a real cornerstone and sort of peak moment for him, even though it was his entry point into the arena. So, there's always a moment to celebrate. That was 20 years, and it sort of like really began the 20-year celebration that continues right now, standing here with you.
Personally, there's a saying that you have where you go, when someone closes their eyes, you want them to, and they think of an artist, you want them to think of a Jonathan Mannion picture.
Yes.
Let me keep it 100 with you. When I think of Rick Ross,
Triller!
when I think of Rick Ross, I literally think of, when I close my eyes, think Rick Ross, I think of this picture.
Thank you.
When I think of the game, I
love
definitely
this.
think of this picture. You know what I mean?
Cool.
When I think of Snoop, I definitely think of that.
See, Snoop, I wouldn't have come up with that. I'd have come up with a different one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that's making moves.
But why are you critiquing yourself on that one? Because you sound like an artist who is, I could have done that song better, like a song.
Nah, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I feel like I could have done a couple songs out there in hip-hop better, but that's just me being cocky. That's just me being hip-hop. You should want to be the best. You should want to do things better,
What do you think you could have done better with this?
I love this. I just know that there are so many quality images of Snoop out there in the world because he is such a compelling, amazing character, While I am an incredible photographer, while I claim one of the top spots in this arena, amongst my friends, humbly, I'm like, I'm Ali, man. But there's still Frazier. There's still somebody. There's still incredible other voices. Snoop is an artist that really can dominate a frame no matter who shoots, But there's early pictures in his career, and certainly his career began before I entered the arena. So those are the ones that I go to. Those are the ones that I was inspired by. The Vibe cover, who maybe it was Albert Watson who did it, but like I'm inspired by those people and the people that came before me because they helped to kick the doors, off for me to kind of walk through.
He's got, you look at the doggy style pictures, like pretty iconic pictures from there, And I also like this.
But I love this as a contribution. Like, I'm not going to take away from my work. Compelling, amazing, a nice, like, sort of moment of how people really, like, love him, the whole heavy West Coast, the blue team.
Snoop
But
literally like now also is balanced to really like OG status. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really on that level now.
But he's a father, he's a teacher, he's a mentor. Yeah, man.
And I feel like this picture, though, actually almost, I think, I'm not there, but I've been a fan of the music. But I feel like this picture is Snoop basically, you know, he got through the death row thing, he went through No Limit. And I think this was like I get the Pharrell time where he was actually going through the Pharrell stage with this type of picture.
This was probably the Pharrell stage, but I kind of did a throwback. And I shot him in Baton Rouge as well, on the side of No Limit Records, actually, against a white background, really simple. But yeah, this was a moment I'm like, look, I want to do a little bit of a throwback, and I talked to the stylist. I was like, just bring me like something simple, like khaki suit, blue, whatever he wants to do. And then I found all these sort of bandana materials and actually had them all sewn together. I wanted to do kind of one more nod to how I think a lot of people absorbed him, and it was also, I shot Game at the same time. This was for XXL. I shot Game at the same time, and it was about actually making peace, and it was about unity between the Bloods and Crips. We wanted to make a statement of unity, the fact that Game, the largest artist in the West, next to Snoop, and certainly Game kind of bows down as like this is the OG, while still knowing his place, This was a moment that, face to face is a shot of Game looking this way against the red same one.
Yeah.
So I was
remember that, though,
I was
like,
having
cover.
to seam up two things, even though I shot Game in New York in my studio, and then Snoop here in LA. So it's a conceptual thing and thinking like a graphic designer. So. Yeah, man.
When you look at Dre, I mean, with how speaking of Dre, and like, what's up, Game? Game is just always ice grilling. But speaking of Dre, though,
he smiles now. He laughs. I get him to laugh all the time. Man.
Well,
dope,
I mean, well, he does like reality shows now, so you got to smile to be on a reality show.
The bill's got to stay paid. He's got 3 kids, man. Maybe 4, 3, I think, but maybe he had another one.
Hey, what's up, Game? Either way. What's amazing though with Dre, with how Dre has blown up. I mean, Dre is almost becoming this enigma. As much as we all know how well he's doing. I mean, he's got the whole show on Apple Radio, and he's even pulled out. It's Exhibit and everyone else that's running the show. But like, he's becoming this enigma. And I don't think a lot of people are gonna have images of Dre. You know what I mean? Is he really rare that way to kind of catch Dre?
I've photographed him 3 times, this being one of them, but it was sort of like, this is like a feature. This is like a guest appearance. One shot in Compton, 62 Impala, co-signing Game, saying, yo, I got him. That's the homie. We're going to do it. And same with 50 Cent. Like, there's another shot from the same session, which is the same session as him on the Daytons, with 50, a backyard barbecue. Really humble, a moment in time that'll never be the same. Certainly he's had immense growth, rocking with a different team, but there's always love and reverence for Dr. Dre's sort of entry point and that cosign, I do feel like Dre, like, what a position to be in, man. You know what I mean? Like, to be worth $1 billion, to be down with Beats, to really have made wise business decisions, to allow his life to be whatever he wants it to be. My hope now is that because you have it all, that you can actually go and now passionately deliver without thinking about anything. And go deliver some music, whether it's the next wave of artists and you just get on a tune. And I think that he's behind it. I think dealing with like Anderson .Paak, dealing with Marsha Ambrosius, like these kind of things, I think he's back to creating now. And I think it's going to be a lot of work coming from him.
What's interesting though is that if you follow Dre's story, he was a DJ, right? Yeah. And that's what I was thinking of yesterday when I was listening to the Apple Music show. I was like, so now you got your own radio show. It's like full circle. Yeah. And it's not just in the club. The world is literally like.
But that's how it happens, man. Things come full circle. Like, I feel like I'm at the beginning of the next phase of my career. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I'm not done. Yeah, this is just 20 years. I'm just celebrating, thanks to Hennessy having me here and printing it and seeing the value in my creativity and the work and the people that I've attached to at the highest level. Like, that's something that I need to give back. But in 2017, best believe I begin the next chapter. the next episode, if you will.
I love that. I just want us to walk around, check
Sure.
out this place. I mean, the one thing that you've also done very well is build trust, you know, with a lot of the artists.
Sure.
How do you build that? I mean, do you feel that the game is, you know, you shot like how many J albums did you shoot? Like
8. Who's counting?
eight. Okay, let's count the one you never shot, which was Blueprint, which you're like, you know,
Blueprint 2. I shot Blueprint 1.
yeah, and you're like you're a little bit bitter about that, you know, and because probably they cut you out because of Nas's godson. Or do you think that was the case?
There was no knowing. It was
Sorry.
Blueprint 2.
Yeah.
And it was actually Albert Watson, who we just spoke about
Yeah.
shooting Snoop
Yeah.
early on. It was just a moment. Look, you know, I have to. Early on in my career, I would take things very personally. I still do. I want what I want. You know, it's just an artist's way. Like, I want time because I feel like I'm the best, you know, sort of voice to be able to bring this thing to life, right?
Because you feel like you're part of the fabric of the culture. Yeah.
But you have to realize, like, you know, I did, you know, 5 J albums before that happened, 6 at that point. You know, it's like if you drive a Ferrari every day and you have the ability to drive everything else in the world, maybe you want to drive in a Range Rover, like, that's tricked out with black tinted windows. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take that personally,
Yeah,
the
of
fact
course.
that he wants to, like, have another experience with someone who's, like, you know, like, enough of Jonathan Mannion, that kid's done. Yo, let's shoot with a real photographer like Albert Watson, when in fact, you know, the body of work that I've delivered to hip-hop is far more authentic than what Albert Watson would ever understand. Like, photographically, he's a beast. He's incredible. His voice and his language is different than mine. You know what I mean? And extremely powerful, and has influenced my career. You know, classic portraits, really gritty. The one he, you know.
I just think that you also feel that.
But I wanted it.
I just feel
And
that
I was mad and I was salty, and then I did Godson, and things got better because it was like you had to choose in that moment, ether versus. And I just lost it in Takeover. Yeah.
Is this the 50 Cent picture that Dre literally asked you to
Remove. Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah. That's it.
And Dre felt that this picture was soft.
I don't think there's anything soft about 50 Cent drinking Hennessy and smoking a cigar poolside and chilling and living life. Like, when every other shot of him at this moment in time was him wearing a bulletproof vest. Like, there was real, like, life things happening around this cat, you know?
So Dre was like, yo.
No, it wasn't this. Like, this feels bossy. This feels official.
Yeah, this does
You know?
feel a bit bossy. So I was wondering, because I heard you say that, like, you know, there's a picture. Was he coming out the pool?
There was a shot of him with, like, that was, like, sort of beaded up, and he just sort of, like splashed water on his face or something like that. And I caught it, and it was beautiful. Literally, 50 lost his mind. Like, he looked like a sex symbol, man. Like, he was diesel, jacked, tattoos, chilling, actually living life. Had a couple of these, you know. And it was just a moment of him, like, feeling himself. When it got turned in, they're like, oh, no, it's too soft, it's too whatever. But meanwhile, he's like, my stock just went up. The chicks are going to be on me, man. Like, it's over. Mannion, I love you. You know, like, this is that moment of exchange that then is like, nah, you look sweet. Yeah, like, oh, he looked handsome and strong and dope, and he was in a pool and he was wet. Like, so what? It's not like he was in, like, a thong. And
There's something to learn, though, about that, about having a consistent image. And I'm sure there were a lot of guys, like, doing other soft music that were always posing like that. So, you know.
I guess it was like an R&B approach. I'm always trying to take people out of their zone a little bit and create something for the world that they haven't seen before. A lot of people saw him like that over and over with the bulletproof vests and the jerseys, and they're like, got it. You know, like, yo, just let's live.
So when you did Godson, right? This is when, I think it was around the time that Nas's mother had passed away, right?
It is. It's exactly the time.
So obviously he's going through this battle with Jay and everything else, and he's almost like the guy that's been picked on, but he's like the thinker, right?
Yeah.
This picture though just like really portrays that, you know. but obviously, you know, it not in a weak way.
This is a dope shot, man. Can I tell you, I've never even really looked at this shot for the details. Like, the fact that this cross is so prominent and I never saw it before is crazy, man. And Ill Will, the RIP, I know that was, you know, not for his mom, but, you know, like I never saw
I
this.
feel that it just says that he's carrying so much.
Yeah,
you know,
we
with the
all carry
passing-
our crosses,
Yeah,
though,
you know,
man.
but with the passing of his mother that time,
Yeah.
it's the battle, and you know, it's
the light kinda
and
dimming on the
you know what I mean?
situation.
This is a strong picture.
Thank you.
It's a strong picture.
I'll tell you this, though. When I spoke to him on the phone before I did the album cover, right, way before I got the call, when I was on the beach literally shooting this shot that I wasn't going to do Blueprint to, you know, and I was vexed. I was tight, man. And I went to Nas and I said, look, for personal reasons, this is going to be a very important picture for me, and I'll tell you one day what it means. And I did tell him, you know, when I shot this TDK thing years later, but I was like, just know that this is the most important picture of my career to get right, and I'm going to give you everything I have, and I want you to be with me for the process. We stayed on this beach. It was a spiritual moment on this beach because of that, because of him, his mom, because the team that was with me was all family, you know, and people that had worked with each other for a long time. But the conversation that I had to step back was basically, he's like, I want to be happy on my cover. I want to be joyful. I want to smile. I want there to be a spirit of laughter and strength and parenthood. And, I'm grateful for this moment, and it's a tough moment for me, but, like, I want to be happy. Like, think, like, old R&B albums, you know what I mean? When, like, Al Green is just, like, laughing on the cover or something. He's like, that's what I want. It didn't become that. But I think there's a calm to this that represents really extreme beauty.
Content.
Yeah, just like at ease, man, you know? But I also think that there was a supreme confidence in that moment, too, because he knew he had a banger with Ether. And I'm grateful for these moments. And you can't define your associations and how they happen. But in this moment, I was very happy to be Team Nas.
Broadcast live